Tracking down all of the details with their sources. Joining us right now on the phone is Bob Orr of CBS News, who has been on this story from the very beginning. Bob, thanks for joining us. Bring us up to date with what you know so far this morning.
Well, we have to start by saying that all this is still under government seal. So the charges, whatever they're going to be, have not been officially released. So what's happening here is a number of agencies have leaked out bits and pieces, and people are trying to put together some kind of tapestry of what it might mean. My understanding is that these charges, which affect 3 people, all relate to events after the fact. That's very important to understand. A lot of people were concerned that there may be conspirators in the bombing plot or people that helped assemble the bombs or plant the bombs. My sources are telling me that that's not what this is about, that this is more about events that happened after the fact. We believe the arrests relate to some people taken into custody on that Friday night where Dzhokhar was finally found in Watertown. And these are people who I'm led to believe know the suspect, were friends of his, perhaps went to school with him, in some cases perhaps spent considerable time with him, maybe even lived with him. So the investigators obviously have been talking to them about what they might have known, about what his actions were. And so if these charges, and I underlined if because we haven't seen them yet, but if these charges fall under the general description of obstruction or false statements, and we're led to believe it could be that, that simply could be the result of these suspects during questioning not telling the whole truth or leaving out key parts, omitting things they knew, not coming forward in a way that would have helped the investigation. So it's not unimportant. It's very important to the investigative process, but no one should be under any here that these people are connected directly to the bombing.
That's a great distinction to make, Bob. The fact that they are being charged and that they are in custody doesn't necessarily allow us to make the jump yet that they knew specifically that Dzhokhar had been involved in the bombings, only that perhaps they didn't answer the questions as truthfully as they should have, right?
I think that's exactly right. And I mean, look, not to unplay it either, because I haven't seen the charges. They're under seal. I don't have any more privilege than anyone else. But for example, if you help someone dispose of some evidence, or if you would throw away some notes or a computer, something like that, or if you would just make false statements about, like if I'm an investigator and I say, well, was here last night? And if you say, oh, yeah, I spent all evening with him, and it turns out he wasn't there, then those kinds of things can be and come back to bite you with charges of obstruction and false statements. So we shouldn't speculate too much. I'm led to believe that people should take a breath here and just understand this has more to do with interfering with the investigative trail that had the events that happened on April 15th.
Sure.